is XR and welcome to episode 9 of our Digimon Tamers Review series. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the US Digivolving Renamon to Sakuyamon Figure. Renamon is one of the most popular Digimon from Digimon Tamers, and perhaps from the franchise as a whole. She's definitely one of my favorite Digimon partners from the show as well, for purely wholesome reasons, I assure you. Sadly, I don't even think the most ardent fans of Renamon would give this figure, as it fails on a multitude of levels. First off, full disclosure, my figure is custom painted by the previous owner, hence I am eternally grateful for that. If it wasn't, I would be staring into the eyes of a Renamon who's lost her soul. Other elements of paint that have been added in by the previous owner include the yin-yang symbols on her forearms. With regard to the paint details that were already on this figure, these markings on her thighs are supposed to be purple instead of silver. But more egregious in just a simple case of missing paint, the proportions in kibble are just intrusive as all heck. To give credit where credit is due, this isn't a half and half transformer where the alt mode is primarily on the back. However, they didn't do a good enough job of integrating the two modes together. Or perhaps they just couldn't due to how different the two modes are. Whatever the case, a ton of Sakuyamon has leaked into the Renamon mode, for the lack of a better term. All that black from Sakuyamon's undersuit just sticks out like a sore thumb. Renamon's paws are also black, and the claws on the feet are conversely not black. Her tail is just the wrong color as well, and it looks like she has a rocket sticking out of her butt. Though I really do like how they used Sakuyamon's shoulder armor to form Renamon's signature tufts of fur. Proportion-wise, Sakuyamon's broad shoulders don't do this figure any favors. Due to the transformation, the figure is also stuck with really emaciated legs. While not terrible, Renamon does have a backpack made out of Sakuyamon's leg guards / boots. Thanks to that backpack and transformation, however, Renamon also has rather garbage articulation. Mainly, she doesn't have any articulation at the waist or thighs, even though she does have the joints, as the backpack locks everything into place. As for what little leg articulation she has left, she does have thigh swivels, knee joints, and ball jointed feet. However, anything other than standing up straight will cause her to fall over. The tail can be posed as well, but its primary purpose is to function as support for Renamon. Lastly, her arms can only move forwards and back, as she doesn't have any kind of elbow articulation whatsoever. Her wrists are on ball joints, and the claws are individually articulated, though they do tend to pop off at the drop of a hat. And now for the Sakuyamon mode. Will it make up for the less than stellar Renamon mode? Let's find out. Starting from the feet, we fold up the middle claw, close up the two toes, fold up the front of the feet, and fold down the heel to form Sakuyamon's high heels. Extend Renamon's legs, and rotate them around on the thigh swivel. Fold down Renamon's tufts of hair and swing the arms forwards to unlock the boots from the back. Swing the boots down and peg them into the leg to lock everything into place. Unpack Renamon's tail from her back and rotate the torso all the way around. Split apart Renamon's chest fur to reveal Sakuyamon's chest. Swing the fur pieces all the way to the back and repack them behind her. Split Renamon's head in half and fold the two shell pieces onto her back. Renamon's ears become Sakuyamon's ears. Fold down Sakuyamon's chest and flip out her headpiece. Split the headpiece in half and fold out her ears. Repack the headpiece over the head and close the chest up back into place. Split the hair in half, extend these two segments on each side, and pack the hair into the back of her head. So is the Sakuyamon mode worth the sacrifices in Renamon mode? Yeah, I would say it is. I'd even go as far as to say that it's even better than Mega Gargomon's. The transformation was rather straightforward, albeit slightly complex, and the result is a phenomenally accurate and kibble-free Sakuyamon mode. Nothing is superfluous. Renamon's ears are reused, her toes joined together to become the tips of her high heels, and even the two halves of Renamon's head become part of her outfit, which is accurate to the show. Though I don't get why they didn't make her shoulders yellow, as Sakuyamon's shoulders are entirely yellow in the show. It would have benefited the Renamon mode as well. Speaking of which, this mode does have its fair share of issues, most of which are carried over from the Renamon mode. Uncustomized, 6 of her yin-yang symbols on her arms and legs are left unpainted, and the remaining ones on her shoulders and chest don't have their dots. The silver details from her chest are also missing. But the issues that plague this figure more than any other is once again the lack of articulation and its inability to balance well. Starting with the articulation, the legs are now more or less completely locked in place. The only joints that are available are the ones at the thigh, and they're obstructed by the design of her waist and belt. To be fair, there is a thigh swivel as well, but again, not really any point to it. The arm and hand articulation remain exactly the same, but she does get an added waist swivel. So I guess that's something? Even if she had any kind of articulation though, the weight of her hair simply wouldn't allow for any kind of action pose. As is, she can barely stay upright. One solution I found is to fold her hair over her ears. This does solve the back heavy nature of the figure and gives her a more dynamic look, but the one downside is that it does cover her ears. Finally, let's talk about the one accessory she comes with, the Kongo Shakujo staff, because this thing is a real mixed bag. Firstly, it looks absolutely amazing. It's full length, it's well detailed, and supremely accurate. Instead of having these 8 rings sculpted in as part of the staff, they are individual separate pieces, which is really impressive for a US Digivolving figure. Swing it around and it behaves exactly like it does in the show. However, as great as it is, there's nowhere to store this in Renamon mode. The individual rings come off really easily, and the entire thing is made of soft bendy plastic that just loves to warp. And we're not talking about the Digivolving kind. It came bent in the packaging, and while I managed to straighten it with hot water, it started to bend purely under its own weight. Also, no matter what you do, the staff cannot be secured to Sakuyamon's hands whatsoever. The fingers, of which she has 3 instead of 5, just don't have the range or strength to offer any kind of grip on the staff. The best you can hope to do is to lean the staff against her palm and hope that it stays. Or try to have her hold it in both hands. As much as she is frustrating to pose, she does make for one heck of an impressive display. So in conclusion, while the Sakuyamon mode is worth the price of admission alone, I can't help but feel that the Renamon mode was a wasted opportunity. Couple that with a lack of paint and articulation, this figure is going to be purely for display purposes. While I would recommend her to only die-hard Renamon or Sakuyamon fans, it's not that rare or expensive on the secondary market. But do be careful though, as her staff, or at least several of its rings, always seems to go missing. But if you're okay with what you've seen, by all means pick this figure up to commemorate one of the best Digimon partner pairings in the franchise. So, this is Acta saying, see you guys in the next episode of our Digimon Tamers series of reviews. Even if she had any kind of articulation though, the weight of her head simply wouldn't allow for any kind of action pose, as is she can barely The best you can hope to do is to just lean it against her palm and hope that it stays.